All right, we're ready to rock and roll. Let's do it. Happy Tuesday. Get everyone's attention. I know you guys are social.
I'm excited.
Thank you. We've already had a very full day. Really appreciate Gary and his leadership.
Thank you.
With his social media mastermind, the pizza afterward. I know several of you participated, and we're going to start to do this on a fairly regular basis. I'll let Gary explain that more, but just thank you, Gary, and thank you all.
Thanks. We didn't buy the pizza either.
Yeah.
So they bought it. So thank you.
It's a team effort for sure. So I always start off with a piece about mindset. As I say repetitively, achievement is 90% mindset, right? It's what you think is what dictates your actions, and you only achieve through action. So your thinking drives your action drives your achievement. I'm a big believer that happiness is progress. You can go to the next slide. And I just want to talk a little bit about how do we grow, how do we progress, how do we improve. You also see me say perpetually raising the bar, and that is a fundamental philosophy I live by. Is like the best can always become better, no matter where you are in your unique journey. You can always become better. You can always progress. You can always improve. And when you feel like you're growing and improving, you're much happier, right? That's the reality. It's real simple. I think we tend to overcomplicate things. Doesn't mean it's necessarily easy, but it is fairly simple. So I'm a big believer, at least my life is a quest to constantly improve, and whatever I choose to do, right? And everything's a choice. We all make our choices as to what our goals are, what our actions are every single day, right? As I said, happiness is progress. When you're growing, you're fulfilled. What does being purposeful mean? Does anyone, Jerry, you want to take a stab at that first bullet point here? Probably a little more interactive.
Turning off my phone, busted for that.
Sorry. Yeah. Not intentional.
I think I'm learning that from your messaging, like having a purpose, and purpose drives business. And for me, I have found that purpose within the deaf community and the stuff that I've been doing, which is pretty amazing. Taking all the knowledge and the stuff that we're learning here and applying it to there, and I'm starting to see things kind of come back. Instead of being led by money, I'm being led by purpose, and then oddly enough, opportunities are starting to come up. So that's been a great thing for me.
Love it. I'm a big believer, create value for others, and the money is a natural byproduct. And if you focus on the money and not, then it's going to often lead you astray. When you focus on creating value and being of service to other people, that's what drives progress. It's what drives happiness, and it drives, quite frankly, the money. And there's nothing wrong with money. So don't apologize for that. I certainly don't, money affords opportunity and freedom for sure.
Somebody told me just the other day, they're like, you could be a light in this world, but somebody's got to pay the electric bill. So we're trying to do both.
Yeah. And look, I won't go off on too much of a tangent. A business is not sustainable if it's not profitable. So if it's not making money, it won't last. It can only last for a certain period of time before it dies. It's the lifeblood of the business, right? And we all have our own businesses. So if our businesses are not generating revenue and ultimately generating profits, we're not going to stay in business very long. So being disciplined and taking action, right? Making it happen despite the inevitable challenges. I always talk about challenges, and challenges are opportunities if we choose them to be, and how we perceive challenges really dictates how we respond to them. If we see them as opportunities, we're much more likely to lean into them as opposed to running away and retreating from them. And that's how we grow and evolve, and knowing that disappointment is inevitable, but it's fleeting if you take the right perspective and you continue to forge forward, right? Being focused on executing the right activities, right? The whole 80-20 principle, 20% of the things you do give you 80% of your results. So being very aware and purposeful about focusing on the right activities that are going to give you a disproportionate return on your effort is called working smarter, right? Because we all have the same amount of time in the day. How do we use that time most effectively is essential. And having a plan that really is focused on the right activities. If you don't have that, ask for help, because I can help you and many other people in this office can. And then following a proven model, like don't reinvent the wheel, right? That's the whole idea around the MRA book, Millionaire Real Estate Agent, which I encourage everyone to read if they haven't. And even if you have, read it again. It's a proven, Gary Keller has studied the top agents throughout the nation and he documented their best practices. So we can model and emulate and leverage their successes and their mistakes. right? So you don't have to wait to do it on your own. You can leverage other people. Model proven success, right? That's part, again, of working smart. And then once again, it's your purpose, your goals, your aspirations, not someone else's. So I think we often get caught up in comparing ourselves to others, and that can be a very unfulfilling and not very productive way of going about things. Obviously, that doesn't mean don't learn from others, that which you can apply to your own unique journey, which is part of modeling others, right? But make it your own time. Any comments or thoughts on that? Justin?
Okay, you said it perfectly. You know, I would just add that your clients will sniff it on you if you're not operating with purpose. They'll see that you're kind of in it for the money. So it's like it ends up being an unfulfilled proposition if you are going after something without genuinely wanting to help people solve the problem at the same time. And you're going to be burned out just as much. You're going to have a much shorter career, and you're going to think that everyone else is doing something wrong rather than you kind of having that moment of clarity, say, okay, maybe I should do it differently, and the money will come.
Well said. Love it. Next slide. I'm a big believer in competition, right? There's no apologies for being competitive. I'm very competitive. I largely, compete with myself to become the best version of myself. And in that context, I do look around me so I can learn what I just said, learn from others that which I can apply to my own journey, right? But embrace that. We're doing Milestone Makers, this contest. I hope it elevates everyone. I encourage everyone to embrace that competitive spirit. And we'll come back to that in a minute, but I'm a big believer in always compete and choose an environment that does help you become the best version of yourself, right? Surround yourself with others that are doing things perhaps in certain ways better than you, so you can model and emulate them and see greater possibilities. I think when you're around people that are doing things at a higher level, at least in some capacity, it helps you see, again, possibilities perhaps you couldn't have otherwise seen. And you say to yourself, I hope, hey, I'm every bit as capable as they are. I just need to put the right foundation and do the right things and put the right systems in place so that I can achieve at that level or perhaps beyond, right? That's part of what environment matters means, right? And have the courage to act in the face of uncertainty. That's the reality. That's the only way you grow, right? Is to act in the face of fear. We all have fear. Fear is only natural. Fear can be a great thing or it can be a terrible thing. You choose and how you respond to it, right? And you fear uncertainty. It's real simple. Fear is a product of what you're uncertain about. And I have tremendous amounts of uncertainty in my life. And I don't let fear deter me. I lean into it and I embrace it. And that's how I grow. And I encourage everyone else to do the same. Commit to mastering the fundamentals, which will help you gain the confidence to adapt and pivot in an ever-evolving world, which is always going to be the case and becomes increasingly the case with technology becoming a bigger and bigger part of everything in our lives and certainly our business. And execute, have a plan, again, like have a purpose, have a plan, execute the plan that identifies the right activities and do it with intensity, accountability, and consistency, right? And that's where most people fall short on all three of those things. Particularly, I would say the consistency and the accountability, right? Get an accountability partner that can come in a multitude of different forms, but report your activities to someone, whether it's a coach, whether it's someone else on your team, whether it's a family member, create some accountability. So you have to answer to someone other than just yourself, because it's easy to tell yourself whatever you want to tell yourself, but it's a lot harder to tell someone else why I didn't do that or why I did do that, right? Create accountability, and then that will help drive consistency. Any comments on any of that? On it? All right, next slide. And then celebrate, celebrate wins, small wins, celebrate progress, right? You got to enjoy the journey, right? It's all about the journey. It's not about the destination. If it's all about the destination, what happens when you get there? Then what, right? So enjoy the journey and celebrate it. Patience, resilience, perseverance. Again, seeing obstacles as opportunities. And when you deal with adversity and you overcome a challenge, to me, there's nothing more gratifying. So again, that's going to cause you with that perspective to lean into that, because this is a great opportunity to grow and be fulfilled because I overcame a challenge. I built resilience. I built confidence in myself. I built credibility from others. All of those things come from overcoming challenges. right? And so that's why I love challenges. Create a winning philosophy, have a plan, and execute, relentlessly. Any, nobody? Yes. Harris.
Hey, John. I think it's a lot easier to overcome any obstacle if you have a higher purpose. And it's not all about yourself, and making money and whatever. If you're in it to help people and you rise above to help them, it's a lot easier to do so.
Absolutely. A purpose bigger than you will create inevitable accountability. It will definitely give you a lot more intensity, motivation. Again, often that's just our whether it's our family, which is often the case. For me, it's real simple. It's my family, my son, my wife, and it's all of you guys. Like when I have challenges, again, they are all over my world, every single moment. And I just think about, okay, be grateful for what you have and all the people you have, and lead by example to lean into those challenges and do the right thing and put your best foot forward, right? Reward the effort, not the outcome, right? Don't attach yourself to the outcome, attach yourself to the effort. It's the number one thing that I want to instill in my son, period, is that. Like if he is focused on giving his best effort every single day on whatever he does, the rest will take care of itself, right? And I think all of us can learn a lot from that. Okay, awesome. Any last comments that anyone? Thank you, Harris. Anybody else? All right, cool. So again, just always recognizing and rewarding the process and these great results. So these are our weekly closings from what date we're on. I think we even have another one coming today, right?
Yeah, Joshua.
Okay, so we'll have another. This was from a week ago. We'll have a new week coming up with Josh and Dom Sick. So let's give all these guys a round. See Gary on there, Christine on there, that are in the audience, probably a few others. So awesome. The office continues to, even in a shifting market, continues to gain more and more momentum. It's all about gaining our unfair share, right? Even though the market itself may be getting a little bit smaller, it doesn't mean that our office needs to get smaller. We can get a greater percentage of the market. So, Michael, do you want to take some time off with me?
Yeah. How's it going, guys? Michael here. So in December, there are going to be some new forms that are getting released. I spoke about them at the commercial meeting this morning. And I'm just going to note a few of them to be aware of coming up. There's going to be a new buyer representation agreement. If you were at the meeting last Tuesday, Austin and I were going over the importance of using a buyer representation agreement. Currently, there are 3 exclusive, non-exclusive, and non-exclusive for no commission, which you would never want to use. But now there's going to only be one. So it's going to be one combination, one agreement. There's also going to be a new form, and it's an anticipated broker compensation disclosure. So there was a lawsuit from the Department of Justice against National Association of Realtors about disclosing commissions to buyers. So this is going to be a 3-part disclosure that you're going to have to specify where your commission is coming from. Again, when that comes out, I'll tell you about it. Along with the buyer representation agreement, so there's going to be a notice of broker identified properties. So just like a listing agreement, if it cancels, you want to give your seller the list of properties or list of buyers that saw the property just in case they bought it, then you can get paid during the exclusion period. This is going to be sort of a similar form as a buyer's broker. You give, if your buyer broker agreement cancels or expires, you give the buyer a list of properties that you show them, and if they buy one of those properties, you get paid. There's going to be a bunch of other, forms that are current forms that are just going to be changing. A rental property owner disclosure is a brand new form. So anybody that's taking on a lease listing, or if you wouldn't be doing property management here unless it's your own property. But if it's basically like a SPQ, the seller property questionnaire for a seller, it's going to be rental property owner disclosure. Same thing for a landlord. There are certain statutory disclosures that you have to let a prospective tenant know. There's a death on the property that is something you need to tell tenants. So there's going to be a form to use, to give to the landlord that you'll know what disclosures are there, and it's not to be given to the tenant, but it's to be used to provide the proper disclosures to the tenant.
I have a question about that. Does the landlord have to disclose that to the tenants also, or that?
Yeah, a material, well, about a death?
Yeah.
Yeah, if it's a material fact like that.
If you're not representing them, do they have to by law?
What do you mean if you're not representing?
Let's say like I was renting somewhere and my landlord didn't tell me. Do they-
Yeah,
By law, they're supposed to.
they're supposed to. Another thing, if you're selling a property that has rental units on it, you want to make sure that all the rental units have C of O, certificate of occupancy on that. I also discussed this. A prospective or a tenant, if they're renting, let's say a converted garage that is not a legal unit, they could potentially go to the landlord and get back all the rent that they paid. Same thing with if it's a multi-unit, let's say it was 2 units that were put together, or 1 unit that was put together into 2 separate units. Anyway, if there's no proper C of O, it's not listed on with the city, then there's a potential for that tenant through like very savvy attorney to get that rent back. So it's important if you're selling properties that have rental units on that they're legal rental. Oh, the last one, which is going to be really important, is the non-contingent offer advisory. So a lot of offers being written without contingencies or certain contingencies. It's never a good idea. This is going to be an advisory to give to the buyer if they want to write an offer without a loan contingency, obviously, loan contingency, or without an appraisal contingency, or the biggest one is inspection contingency. Want to always advise against it. This advisory just says that, and that's it. I mean, well, there's a bunch of others that are coming out in December, and we'll get listed up. So,
And you're doing the milestone maker class. Next
well,
week?
no, I think
Oh, you did, okay,
we did
Okay,
buyer.
okay, I'll let
Austin
Justin speak on
buyer
that.
representation. Yeah, so
okay,
cool. He's up.
okay,
Thanks, man.
awesome, thanks, man. I'm gonna turn quickly to Brandon on just what you're seeing in the market.
Yeah. So, that's just to give you a barometer, because in title and escrow, we're working in real time, and everyone else is a month after the fact, because public records by nature is always going to be delayed. So we are seeing units down. It's kind of been trending that way. It's no secret since the peak of, this last few years, which was April. However, I thought it was interesting enough, because we always have to put a positive spin on it when you're talking to your prospects, is we're seeing the sales price, average sales price per square foot, we're still at a level higher than last year and the year before. So if you look at Beverly Hills, we're almost at 10% higher, in Brentwood, 10% higher. So if I'm talking to a seller that's scratching their head, I'm hearing so many different things, I'm gonna talk to them like, units are down, but sales prices are up. As long as we don't overprice your house, we can still break a record. We can still get more than you ever would. And now is perfect timing. So it's crunch time now, right? So between now and the holidays, just a few things to think about when you're door knocking or prospecting. One, look at the MLS caravan book today. There's a huge ad taken out on vote no against Measure ULA. The very universal theme in the real estate community is we don't want that to happen. So that is a major door opener between now and November 8th when it's voted on. If you want to do something about it, that's how you do something about it. You go talk to the wealthy owners, Beverly Hills, Brentwood, all these other areas. Number two, you can get ready for Thanksgiving. Well, people love to give away and donate all the time, but definitely that time of year. So walk around with bags, go to Trader Joe's, get those flat bags, and put a flyer in there saying you're picking up canned goods for the local shelter, right? Great door opener. People are going to be way more open to talking to you rather than slamming a door in your face. And then lastly, Paul Morris mentioned 2 weeks ago about $1 trillion in equity, right? We've never seen so much equity in homes, right? One way to tap into that is Proposition 19. And we've spoken about it in the past. Keep up to date with it, because is if the market were to slide down, their ability to take full advantage of that goes down with it. So for Proposition 19, I won't bore you guys with all the details, but the higher they can sell the price for today, the more they can get out of taking advantage of that and moving somewhere else. So those are, a few key points to keep you guys motivated, inspire others, and then, this is crunch time. So anyway, Brandon with Fidelity Title, if you have any questions.
Thanks, man.
Thank you.
Afternoon, everybody. Thank you, John. I am Lauren Goldman with First American Title. Yes, we are seeing a slowdown. Shocking news, right? The data does trail, and we are seeing real time, but we're seeing real time of people that got escrow 60 days ago, 90 days ago. They've locked in something around 4.5%, 5-ish%, and they think like they're stealing it, right? So they're holding on to that and they're closing. It's the new stuff opening today, opened yesterday. It's getting lighter and lighter. There are fallouts. So if you have a serious buyer in a neighborhood, the sellers are probably beat up, guys. They've probably been through sale number 1, fell out, maybe even number 2 that fell out. So here you come. And now they're more receptive to credits. They're more receptive to negotiating on price. And of course, cash is king if you got that. But the news is gonna get worse because as we trail, we're seeing the closings that are happening. The openings are getting a little lighter. So the sellers, guys, this, are still up here, which is why we're seeing a lot of the sale prices hit close to what we're asking was. And buyers, we know mentally are here. It's the bridging of the gap that's going to take some time. So as we work through this, slowly that will start to come down. You guys have seen the reductions come around. It's just pricing is everything now. Pricing and condition. I don't care what side of the deal you're on, buyer or seller. But if you have a well-priced house in good condition, you will get an offer. You will get 2 offers. There are buyers out there. People want good product. It's when you are overpriced and you don't have a product that looks good is where you will sit on the market. And it's always been kind of that mantra in real estate, but now that divide is just huge today. So consult your sellers appropriately, temper their expectations appropriately, have the conversation when you go in the first listing appointment that says, hey, I think we're here, you think we're here, but we're going to try and we're going to meet in the middle with the market. Ultimately, it's going to tell us where we are. And for buyers, they just need to get in the game, just stick their foot in and test the waters to see where that seller is. Because again, a lot of times I see it all the time. They're done, man. He's over it. They're out, and he just wants an offer, or she wants an offer. You may be able to get that property in the neighborhood that you want. And then, the money falls where it falls, but at least you're not going to be crowded with 15 other offers. So it's a very different market. Prospecting is very different today than it was 6 months ago. So for whatever that means for you, I've got all the tools and bells and whistles of a big title company. Come talk to me. We'll figure out what works for you. If I don't have it, I know where to get it because we are all in this together and we will survive.
Awesome. Our in-house lender with Woodward Mortgage, she's awesome. I'm May.
Alright, so I been a little particular this time. So mortgage-backed security is really high right now, where our rates are about 7%. You're not gonna get a 0-point loan on a lot of stuff because the banks are thinking that, I don't know who I talked to Armand today, that if you get a loan today, most likely in the next 5 to 6 months, you will refinance. They are predicting the rates to be between 5 to 5.5 in March and April next year. So if somebody wants to buy today, as Lauren said, the values are still there. The equity, the appreciation is about down to 13% from the year before versus 15%. So it's still, we have really good values. When somebody that's buying property is not going to worry about the market crashing. I hear that all the time. Hey, it's not crashing, guys. There's not enough inventory for the market to crash. So interest rates are expected to go down between March and April between 5 and 5.5. So that's the new news I heard today. as I said, I was gonna put something on Facebook, because I have a grandson who's 2 years old. And he doesn't like something, you say, stop, so that's what the market is gonna do, is the government is gonna stop doing what they're doing, because they have extremely increased the interest rate so much that they haven't even taken a breath to have the inflation correct itself. So they just keep increasing it. So they were gonna go and do a 3/4 of a point in November increase. Now they're talking about a half. So let's give it a week or so. It may even be less than that. But remember, when they say that, that does not mean your interest rate on the mortgage is going up. That means overnight borrowing for the banks are going up a half. So it's gonna affect us, but it's not gonna affect us in the same way. What I see is most banks are making their money in credit card instead of mortgage loans. So and that's where people are actually getting the default or not paying their credit card payment. But we don't have mortgages are not being paid. So there is not gonna be a crash in the market. I don't see that happening. Everybody's paying their bills. They bought their homes for 3% and 2.5% interest rate. They can keep those payments. They're not gonna go anywhere. But the new buyers, if they're gonna get a 7% interest, you always not need to tell them. None of the owner occupied, that's the question I ask all the time, has no prepayment penalty. None of the owner occupied you're allowed to charge a prepayment penalty or even have it, because that's against the law. So if you were selling a property and somebody says there's a prepay, something is wrong, because they will not allow an owner occupied to have it. But the clients are paying a point to a point and a half. Have the seller pay closing costs or have that help, because they will come back in 5 to 6 months and refinance it, and you will get back the rate, at least 5 to 5.5. That's what I predict.
Can I just say one thing? So what I'm seeing a lot, just questions about seller financing, because the interest rates are at 7, and a seller that may, have a lot of equity in this property, may want to offer the buyer seller financing at 6% or 5% even to get a buyer into the
And
property.
then carry a second if they don't have a full 20%.
And so that I'm seeing a lot of stuff that's coming up. That could be a conversation you have with the seller who may have the equity to offer it, or with the buyer who might consider it. And then when the rates stabilize, normalize next year, then they can refinance it to traditional.
There's another program called the 2-1 buy down, where if the rate is at 7, you can start the rate at 5 to 6 to 7. But the difference in the rate between the beginning and the end, that interest that they're not paying, that's charged to the buyer. So the seller can actually pay for it. So it could be like $15,000 or $20,000. But then if the client starts today at 5 and then goes to 6 and then goes to 7, between the 5 and the 6, they'll come back and refinance. There's no prepayment on this. Very important.
So if you're considering, or if your clients are considering any sort of seller financing, get the advice of a tax attorney
Yeah.
or a regular
So
attorney.
they want to talk to, the seller will want to talk to their CPA,
Yeah.
but there is no reason not to do seller financing. Now, that's a great idea.
Do you have a contact that? For an attorney, I could,
Any real estate attorney
Yeah.
will advise it.
Yeah.
Their own CPA will.
yeah, like a tax consultant or. But I'm seeing a lot of that coming up, where in the past I really didn't see it with residential.
Awesome, great perspective, man. Appreciate it. Fast before I go to Justin, does anyone have any listings they want to present to the group here? Anything coming soon? I haven't done that in a while, and I want to try to make sure we continue to do that. Sonia.
So I have a listing and it's on 2161 Linda Flora.
Do we have that mic?
You should be able to use that.
Say it one more time, so everyone can see.
Okay, I have a listing in Bel Air, 2161 Linda Flora Drive. It's really nice. It needs a little bit of upgrading, but it's a beautiful house. And the seller was not willing to lower the price until now. It's finally lowered, so now it's a really good price. They're very motivated. They want to sell, and price now is 1,149,000, where before it was almost at full complete. Yeah, so he's come down quite a bit, and that was a big challenge, so.
It's on the market?
It's on the market,
Okay.
yeah.
That's great. Thanks for sharing that. Yeah.
Can I can I say something?
Go ahead, George.
I had a new lease listing in front of the Huntington Library in San Marino. It's a 4-bedroom, about 4,500 square feet for the around no more than 10,000. It's gonna be coming soon.
Awesome.
$10,000 per month. Okay, just wanna let you know.
Yeah.
Keep it up.
Yeah,
Can I say something?
One sec, let me go to Jeff first and then I'll come back.
Yeah, I have an off-market condo in Long Beach, 2 bed, 2 bath, the Bixby Knolls, highly desirable area, 559. Looking to go to market soon, so if you guys want, write a serious offer that makes it worth our while.
Love it. Thanks, Jeff. I didn't catch who that was on Zoom.
This is Amy.
Hey, Amy, how are you?
Good. I have a listing it's a lease. It's in Ojai. It's beautiful. It's 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath. The address is 335 East Villanova Road. And it's a very special place. Just even look at it, it's decorated beautifully, fully furnished, and it's $6,800 a month.
Awesome. Thanks, Amy.
Thanks.
Justin. I should, I'll do it then.
2071 North Beverly Glen. We just went through a price improvement, 3-bedroom, 3-bath, 1,800 feet. It's a great, feels like a great retreat, tucked away off the street. And it has a nice pool in the back with a cabana. It's a great property, high ceilings, lots of light streaming in. And it's also a great investment property. So if someone's thinking about not wanting to have a lot of tenants, but have just one, it's set up to do that, or it's set up, it could even be, you could even kind of work it where it could be 2 tenants in the same property. So it's really great. We're open most Sundays, 1 to 4. Take a look.
How much?
1.799. Steel. Steel.
Awesome. Thanks, Dave. Janet. Sorry.
Thank you. I have a listing coming up in Montezuma. The freeway shows it's 3-bedroom, 1.5 bath. It has a pool, 77.
Awesome.
I may have an open house.
Great stuff, Janet. Thank you. Who else? Anyone on Zoom? Yeah, so then I'll turn to Justin. Yeah, why don't you talk about this?
So November 1st, Howie and I are doing a listing presentation class.
A week from today,
Yeah.
3 o'clock.
And we're going over, mindset for going into a listing presentation, how to get the actual agreement signed, how to connect with somebody, negotiate so you can be really clear about what's actually going on in the market, so you're not spinning your wheels. So everything A to Z. I did a class similar to this a few weeks back, and it was great for the group that was there. So please join us. And Howie has a lot of great experience, so he'll bring his unique perspective on what he sees in the marketplace and how to connect and get more listings. So that's happening.
And Howie and Justin combined, their level of knowledge, their experience, their track record, residential and commercial is pretty phenomenal. So definitely encourage everyone to attend that.
Thank you. And then the slide that's up there, pretty cool, unique opportunity. So next Thursday, this Thursday
Yep.
at 11:30, I have an author who wrote an entire book about door knocking. So we're all trying to figure out where the next deal is coming from, and what lead sources are good. And even if you think door knocking would never work for me, come and maybe your mind will be changed. If you get one great thing from the session, it's probably worth you showing up. So I'm excited to hear what he has to say, and let's see how it goes, but hope everyone will join.
Yeah, and to Justin's point, we all have limiting beliefs. And it starts with being aware of them and acknowledging them, and then a willingness to be open-minded to perhaps overcome them. Door knocking, there's several, I could name a ton of people that have built their businesses to an extremely high level through door knocking. I mean, Ben and Zach are amongst consistently our top agents. They do 90% of their business through door knocking. I could go on and on and on. So I encourage you, if you're not door knocking, to at least be open-minded around it. And it is extremely effective. So thanks, JJ. Richard.
Yeah, I just want to ask Jessica, like, that's going to be on YouTube also. We'll see. You have to show up to find out.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, there's a text message going around that's supposedly from me, but it's not. It's not a, it looks like.
Boy, I've been there many times.
Sorry.
A lot of impersonators. Yeah, anytime someone's asking you for money, it's not him and it's not me. Although I'm taking it. Okay, so real fast on milestone makers, you're gonna start to see, stuff all around the office with QR codes, which gives us an update on the score, because we're keeping score for sure. And again, this is designed to be inclusive for everyone to participate in this contest, to accumulate the most points by the middle of January to get tickets to Family Reunion, which is our convention, which is in Anaheim this year in mid-February. And you gain points very simply by signing a listing agreement, by signing a buyer agreement, right, which we did that class last week, and by putting a deal in escrow, whether you're representing the seller or representing the buyer. Leases of a year or more count, and whoever gets the most points, for anyone who's 2 years licensed and less versus 2 years licensed and more, there'll be first, second, and third prizes for each of those two segmented groups. So I really, really encourage everyone to participate. Part of this whole contest is the education and training coming along with it next Tuesday, and then 2 Tuesdays thereafter. So plug in, engage. We're trying to create as much awareness and excitement around that. Again, there'll be QR codes up there, so you'll be able to just hit on the code and see what your score is and everyone else's score. So participate, engage. Any questions? All right, cool. So we have an amazing special guest. I'll do an intro. Gary, why don't you come and just explain this before I do this part before I jump into our feature thing. So we did the first leg of this today. This basically social thing around the social media mastermind. Why don't you explain it better than I can?
So I always like parties. When they're talking about celebrate and things like that, I always like that. So I asked Josh, can you throw a pizza party for us every week? And he's like, probably not every week. Every week. Every week, he says. But we're thinking once a month we can get together. Typically, we have our social media mastermind class second and fourth week. And so on the fourth week, 10:30, we get together. We talk about social media stuff, improve our social media, and how we utilize that social media to really hit our audience and to really get our audience engaged with us and get listings and buyers and everything like that. Then after we go to Caravan at 12 o'clock, after Caravan, during Caravan, it's really fun because you have partners and you're basically doing content for each other in that sense while you're in there. So that's really helpful with that as well. Then after that, we come back, we network, drag people through your Caravan, bring people. We want to get as many people to eat pizza and have, they said no beer, but
because we have a happy hour afterward.
It's black and white, your dad.
So that's why we decided, like, yeah.
So we just hope that it's a time that we can get together after our social media session and really just bond together and get to know each other a little more and connect with each other from there.
Love it. So it'll be once a month, and stay tuned. We'll continue to promote this. Today was the first shot, and again, I just want to thank Gary for his leadership, his initiative to create this, and then we'll learn a little bit more in a minute.
Thank you for paying.
Absolutely. And I'll just chime in, like, guys, social media is such a lever that if you're not using, you're not serving yourself well. I mean, it's such a big piece of our business. And it's exactly, it's unbelievably cost effective. Anyone can use it. And I know many people who have literally, like, they built their businesses around social media and being very purposeful about that. I know how Gary is leading the way on that front. So I hope that all of you guys engage, no matter what level of experience you're at. There's tremendous opportunity in social media. Cool. Are we ready for? All right. Oh, and then the happy hour after this. So just stay tuned.
Yes.
Partner CRE, they're sponsoring that. So I encourage everyone to stick around and socialize and network. So I'm going to jump right into this. So Gary joined us 2 years ago. You've been in the business for how long? 8 years. One of our top producers consistently. Definitely a leader, always taking initiative, always very innovative, which I love. Always striving to like step outside the conforming box and think about how to do things a little bit differently, a little bit more purposefully, a little bit more effectively, right? And social media being a big lever of that. And Gary's business, you know, is certainly reflective of that. Give us a little bit of sense of like, you know, your business, where it comes from, even with respect to social media, and a little bit of like your evolution of the business and what you've learned, and then we'll go into the app.
Why don't we just go right into it?
Okay.
Because it's a journey that we're gonna take.
Okay, all right, cool.
Yeah, sounds good?
Yep.
Okay, what I'm gonna do is, we're gonna set up right here. I'm gonna have everyone just stand up, stretch for a little bit, say hi to your neighbor, and introduce yourselves while we get set up. So go ahead and stand up, stretch, and say hi to your neighbor, introduce yourselves for a minute, and then we'll kick out. No beer. My wife is All right, thank you, everyone. So we're gonna start right now. Really happy to be here today. If I can get one clap, please. One clap, please. Can I get one clap from Jacob, please? Another clap for Jacob, please. Jacob, come here, Jacob. Sorry. No, I used to teach kindergartners, so you guys did a really good job. Thank you for entertaining. I did used to be a teacher for the last 10 years. It was a lot of fun. That's why I love teaching and everything. I want to introduce this guy. A lot of you guys seen him lurking around the office. Right? Do you want to introduce yourself really quick?
I'm Robert. Nice to meet you all. We're really excited to show what we've done. And then super excited today. Professionally, I design programs. I consult corporations, companies on designs and products. So that's how we connected. Because he asked me how we should do branding and how we should leverage each other, right?
Actually, Robert literally lives this far away from me. His door is right there. My door is right here. He usually doesn't lock his door, so I just knock on his door. He's not there. I open it and I go, Robert, he's sleeping. I walk in, I grab some beer, and I go back to my place. It's perfect. So, Robert. So what I thought it was interesting. We wanted to share with you today what we've been working on for actually the last 2 years. And I thought that was a really interesting timeline as I was thinking about that, because I was thinking 2 years ago, what were we doing? We were just trapped in the house. So guess what? I had that neighbor next door, and I just knocked on his door all day, and we just drank all day. And we were thinking, well, we should do something about this and actually try to work on something. So I asked Robert, I let him know about myself, and he's like, wait, hold on, just don't tell me. Put together a presentation. So I put together a presentation on Gary Watts, and I started putting up pictures and what I did and pictures of houses. And he's like, great, now let's see what we can do. But before we even talk about your idea or whatever we want to do, I want to map out your journey. And what I hope that you guys can get out today is, as we're mapping out this journey, this can also be applied to you guys, your clients, your agent journey, and also your seller's journey also, or any kind of business, to find what we are doing. What we want to do is we want to discover what that looked like in terms of our clients. And then we want to find the pain points. Then we want to discover and create products around that or services and execute on the end. So, Robert, you ready to reveal what you had me do?
Sure. Let's do it.
Do you want to play the music? The music. This was like epic music. Play.
Here's the party guy.
All right. To present to you our guide right here. This is what we did. Okay.
It keeps going.
And it keeps going. Can you help me with that really quick? Hold that right here. And Josh, can you hold that on the end right there? Thank you. Okay. Was the music worth it? Was that- I don't know if the song's fully appropriate. Some of you laugh at the lyrics. Wake up and yeah, anyways. This is what we created. So every day during quarantine, what we're doing was we're looking at what the buyer's journey was, what the seller's journey was. We're looking at what the sellers were going through, what the buyers were going through. And this was really a tedious project for me, because I was just like, I want to get things done. I'm a guy that wants to door knock, make cold calls, everything like that. And he's like, slow down, slow down. What's going on? Explain to me this process. Are you doing an offer? Are they in escrow? When they close, what happens? You know, you have clarity, moments, everything like that. And through all this research, and as we're talking, putting all these things down, what we're looking at really is seeing the pain points that are coming out. You can see the pink one is pain points. And as the pain points come out, we also have what devices are they using? What features are they using? What are they thinking? What do they need? What do they want? As you're going and working with your clients on a day-to-day basis, I think it's really important to be thinking about these things, about what their journey is, how they're feeling during this process. A lot of times we're like, hey, just write it, just sign the DocuSign, okay? And they're like, I have no idea what is that feeling that they have? What would make it easier for you to solve that problem for them? So that's kind of what we went through on a day-to-day basis and came up with this whole thing. And then he had me do more stuff. So let's jump into the slides. Yeah, sure. All right. Okay. So Robert's a designer, which is really convenient when we're trying to design an app and everything like that. And this is how our journey and why we built an app and how we think it could relate to you. Now, I know a lot of you were here. Thank you for signing that NDA. Our lawyers are going to be bugging us through it. If you're on Zoom, please sign the NDA. I think Serena is going to put that link on there for you. It helps us to protect our trademark secrets, things like that. It also lets our lawyers know that we did our best to really do that and cover our butts in that sense. So our social media app, we don't have a name for it, or even if we did, we wouldn't tell you because we don't want to release it out there yet. This is our first presentation on it. So we're very excited after working for 2 years. The MVP is going to be coming out next week for our testing. And by next year, January, we're hoping that we can start with real estate agents in Keller Williams, Beverly Hills, and Fort Living as well. So what we did is. All right. So our concept, basically what we're doing is we're looking at, we're mapping our buyer's journey, we're discovering some of the pain points, and we're making the home buyer journey easier and our process easier in general. Go down. One of the problems that we solve is a scatter of information. So who has sent a link to a Zillow link to the buyer? Raise your hand. Guilty, right? Right?
It's just easy.
It's easier, right? It's true, it's easier, right? I send Zillow links to my buyers all the time because I'm like, they're on the app, it's an app that they use, and why give them like that one home app that we have? They don't like it, they don't like the interface, they don't like anything about it, sort of thing. And then what other devices do you guys use? Anything else? Redfin, good. Okay, anything else? That's about it, really, right? Or one home that you have. Who has Boomtown? Anybody have? Nobody has Boomtown here? Wow, that's a really good resource. You can send it from MLS. That's the one home, right? Yep. One thing that's interesting about that is we see a scatter of information because when a buyer's looking to buy somewhere or something, they sometimes don't know what information is right or wrong. Like if I were to buy in New York, let's say, I don't know anything about New York, actually. I've been there one time when I was 23, and that's all I know about it. But if I were to actually buy it, what's the difference between Manhattan or Uptown, Southtown? There you go. Okay, yeah. All those boroughs, right? In that sense. What's the difference? What's the average price point? What is it like living there? You know, what is the vibe of that place? Is it a cool vibe? Is it not a cool vibe? Like, I have no idea. How do you find out about those places? Anybody? How would you find out? Google. Okay. What would you Google? Interesting. What would you Google?
Everything and anything.
Everything and anything about New York. You're gonna get a lot of everything and anything, right? Anything. What else would you Google?
Shopping.
Shopping, schools, best school districts, restaurant. Google is probably the one place that you would find what it's like to live in New York. But the information about homes in New York is somewhere else also, right? And then who, okay, now I know a little about, let's say Manhattan, right? What is it like to live in Manhattan? How do you find out that? Sex in the City. We're in the 90s, right? Ask your friends. If you don't have friends, where do I look on the internet? YouTube. YouTube's a really great place, right? Why YouTube? Why is YouTube a great place to look? Very good. You have a lot of videos about people living there or showing you things or looking at restaurants. And man, I love looking at restaurants, or like I love Instagram reels or Instagram accounts about food because I always love eating and I'm like, okay, I want to go there. I want to go there. I want to go there. So it shows me where all the cool spots are and everything like that, right? Again, scattered information, right? Scattered information. So what we thought about doing was this, our solution. What if we put all that together? What if there was an app that's, one other thing that I was really pissed off about and trying is that I was really trying, I am still trying, really to be cool and famous on Instagram. Who knows about that?
Everyone knows.
Nobody likes my photos, you know? Real estate agent, I have to admit, we are not the most popular people on Instagram. Would you say, right? Right? Maybe some of us, oh, she is maybe she is. Sort of? Yeah. Well, some of them are not.
It's always on like shows.
I think shows are different. A lot of the shows are different. They're entertainment. They're almost semi-celebrities in that sense, right? Mauricio and all them, and Selling Sunset. All these they're not real estate agents anymore. They're media. They're in the media, right? But average realtors, not really that popular, right? So when you have a scatter of information, what if we're able to put all that information together about realtors for the general public, about living in a certain place? So you're looking at this. If I were to search on something, right, I would look at local neighborhoods. I would say, hey, what is in this neighborhood here that is food or schools or anything like that? And what if there's videos about that school district or someone talking to the principal about something, like, hey, we're here with the principal of Manhattan School. I don't even know what it's called, but, they're talking to the principal, talking about why these schools are good, or private schools or local eateries, or dentists, doctors, anything in the community are pushed forward by real estate agents. Real estate agents are the only influencers making content about the area, showing your expertise about the area also. Now, when they start looking around the app, they go, wow, that's cool. Jimmy V shows up. Jimmy V shows up here again. Jimmy V shows up here again. That's Jimmy V. Say hi. They're like, Jimmy V must be the local guy, the guy that knows everything about Manhattan or Beverly Hills, right? And so it allows you to explore a lifestyle. Oh, we'll go back a little, sorry. So local highlights, video information about those things and places, but also video information about homes. That would be very, very useful to me. I literally had a dream yesterday about walking into a home and seeing it on a video in kind of a 3D format sort of thing. And I was looking around, I looked left and I looked right, and I could see a home and I could walk around and see it. If there are videos like that of agents guiding through, I think that would be very amazing. Now, what's interesting about that is that every agent's different. This is what I love, and this is what we always encourage in our social media class, is that every single agent is unique and different. Maybe, maybe this one really super cool agent dominates Beverly Hills, right? But all of a sudden, now I'm making videos about Beverly Hills in Chinese, right?
Mandarin,
That's
Cantonese.
maybe both. Maybe she's doing Cantonese, maybe I'm doing Mandarin. Maybe someone does Hindi, maybe someone does another language or dialect, you know? So it gives you different perspectives. Maybe you're a contractor before. Maybe you're an interior designer. When you're going through the house, you're like, oh, there's Kevin McClung is not here today, but he always did HVAC. And every house we did on Caravan, he was like, oh, look, this is not good. This is not good. He gave his perspective on every house on the HVAC system. I thought that was pretty interesting. I would follow him to see what the HVAC system in different houses are. It gives agent insights about the house. And I think that's very interesting when you talk about agent insights, because it's not just that, but it's also about how to buy a home in New York. It's very different, I heard. You know, you can make an offer in New York and then they can reject it, and the process is back and forth, really weird. The last one, explore your lifestyle. I think that's where, when you're browsing through, I think it's interesting if my parents were thinking of retiring and selling their home, cashing out on their equity, downsizing, they're looking through this app and they're like, hey, then there's this, I'm just gonna say, like a little Thai guy comes up and pops up on their feet and goes, hey, you can buy this beachfront house, $50,000. And because you've been liking and tagging all these different things, I know your dad likes playing pool, and I know your mom likes Chinese food and only eats Chinese food every day. And I know that you need a McDonald's nearby because your dad likes McDonald's in that sense. And all of a sudden they're advertising to my parents because we were talking about buying a house, and they're like, instead of downsizing to a $700,000 house, why don't you buy one for $50,000 beachfront in Thailand? And they can explore a different type of lifestyle. They just fly the kids over every year anyways. We don't see them anyways. I see my parents. Anyways, next one, the design process. We're gonna talk a little about how we're doing it. We wanna keep this short, we really do. So we're gonna go really fast through this, and we wanna be done like at most maybe in 5 or 10 minutes, and that's it. So I don't wanna keep you guys, and I wanna drink. Let me drink during lunch. All right, so what we did through this process, I'll go through all the steps and we'll show you a little video on all of them, but basically we did a discover, define, ideate, design, develop, and then recollect. All those different things that we went through. We're just gonna show you one video about our app and just how we went through that process. Maybe the ITA part would be good, right? Sure. So, do you have a video on that? Yeah. So I think this is absolutely amazing. Working with Robert has been so much fun, and it's very interesting because this is our entire app. We had to make it frame by frame by frame by frame. Every single frame that we're doing is a study about how we're touching things. We studied everything from Zillow, Redfin, all the real estate apps we're going through, doing structure maps through, doing wireframe designs, looking at the UX UI design. I don't know if you downloaded the new iOS 16, but that's really interesting to me because it's like, hey, it's easier on the thumb. Google Maps and Apple Maps Also very different. If you notice, when you touch the top, when you're searching something for Apple Maps or Google Maps, you have to reach on top and touch that bar to search. Whereas Google Maps now, the thumb is right there. They've changed everything where you, it's within the thumb range. That was a big study in itself, and how we're getting, and making it easy really for our users to use that. We have public profiles, user profiles, everything where we're doing frame by frame and imagining how things could be laid out on a different basis. Writing it all down, showing what the features are. I mean, we went through this process. I don't even know how long we went through this. It's been 2 years and we're still working on it. We went through this process and we finally also got a development team in China. Managing a China team is very challenging in itself also, but it's very interesting how we're putting this together. We really want to make an app that's agent focused and, or sorry, agent centric and buyer focused, so that it is geared towards you guys, promoting you guys, promoting and putting the agency back in the center. When every single company out there, every single tech, not every single, but Redfin, Zillow, all those big guys are trying to take the agent out of the equation. I mean, if you paid Zillow, your face is not even on there anymore. You know that? You pay them $1,500 a month, they don't see anything about you. I want to promote you. We want to promote you. We want you to promote yourself also through the app and through your buyers. Now, what we took this approach is that we didn't want to just make an app. A lot of people are like, well, where are you going to get your buyers? Where are you going to get your sellers? Things like that. We wanted this to be a tool right off the bat. So it's not like you're looking for buyers or looking for sellers. What we're looking for is, I know from me, when I go to a showing and I'm showing the buyers and we're walking through the house, I would really like to have saved that video we walked through that house for them. So we're going through the house with them, we're pointing out things, and then that video saves and tags on that exact address. So then when they go back into their past and say, wait, what was that house with the red door, with the, you know, the funky toilet, that one? And they're like, oh wait, we saw this last Tuesday. Go back to last Tuesday, go back to that property, watch the videos, and it's right there, all saved in one place. What we're doing is we're making tools that we can use today, right now, and not find buyers and sellers through there. That's not the point. The point is that we want to make it so that we can actually have it as a tool also. So some of the tools that we're using is a CRM system. Like I said, we're sending, you know, our buyers through Zillow and everything like that, and chatting back and forth on Instagram, on Facebook, and then we're going on our text messages. We want it all in one place so that the chat is all here, basically. You can see where it has been, what process they're making an offer right now. They're exploring, they're in escrow. You see their whole entire process from there. You know, client behavior activity. This I really want. So I'll tell you, I had a buyer this year. I was looking, I've been looking with him for 2 months. And we went everywhere from Santa Clarita to the west side, back to South Pasadena. And we're looking around, and I didn't even know where he was looking exactly. He was looking for investment property. He comes up and calls me one day, hey, Gary, I'm really sorry. We placed an offer on the house already, we're in escrow. I'm like, wow, where was this? Oh, just South Pass, where we live. Why did you tell me you're looking at South Pass? I have things off market. I wish I could have seen them search for things and everything, where they're searching, where they're looking, what's going behind the scenes, what are they liking, what are they not liking, what are they rejecting? I want to see that. So I can predict, hey, you're looking at South Pass? I have one client right now that's on our Boomtown system. I see her looking at Temecula. So what do? Give her a call. Hey, I see her looking at Temecula. Do you want to go take a look at some houses in Temecula? What can we still show you in Temecula? I don't want to lose that opportunity after showing them 4 months. They're like, oh, you don't sell in Temecula, right? I'll place an offer for you. I'm licensed in the state of California, right? I would like to see that. And that's one of the tools that I found really helpful in this as well. Creative video tours to show them what's going on, things like that. Promote yourself. When you make a video for your clients, what's interesting is that when people are looking at it, other people might see it and go, hey, that Gary guy, yeah, he's kind of funny looking and funny sounding. I like him. I'll go with him, you know, but Jerry's much better looking. Maybe I should go with him, you know? So thanks. Direct communication all through right here means we thought about how like the UX system would go. You're not chatting with 20, 50 other people as a buyer and things like that. So the groups are really grouped together and easy to see. That's the direct communication that we're looking for. It also allows you to brand yourself all in one place. Videos, local highlights, agent insights, home tours, all that is in one place so that your brand can really shine through what you do rather than just what you tell people to do. So when they're looking for a local agent, they're really seeing that you really are the local agent. You understand what's going on in this neighborhood. And this all wouldn't have been possible if it wasn't for Robert and I want to show you this right here. This is our new listing presentation that we created. I'll tell you a little secret about it also. So we just printed all this out right here. And this box is actually from the agency when I was at the agency. They gave this to us and I was like, Robert, I really like this box. Can you put something on top of it? And we did, and we rebranded this box and everything like that. So it's really cool that, what Robert was able to do and help me with also. I think what's the really cool thing about what we did together was really go back and to ask me, what do you stand for? What do you do? Where do your clients come from? We didn't have a chance to go through that slide, but he asked me, where do all your clients come from? And then he would start sectioning them out. Oh, these are young professionals. These are families. These are Chinese buyers. These are this. Then from there, really help strategize how to make marketing material towards that. And so we can guide towards there. So as you're looking at your own business, your own buyer's journey, your own seller's journey, your own agent journey, I think it's important to really reflect on who you are as an agent, what you represent to your audience, and really try to map it out to see where your value is to your clients. So Robert, I want to say thank you, and thank you for letting us talk. Any questions? Yes.
All right, are you guys essentially that flow chart? Are you guys gonna recreate that for the client? So the client checks one of those boxes, is it gonna virtually recreate that potential path for them?
I think that's a great idea. We haven't done anything virtually with this or anything like that, but ideally, I think it would be, and a lot of, I met this agent that has like 60 escrow all the time. I'm always saying, like, how do you deal with that?
Yeah.
They have the buyer personas already. So if you might map out each buyer persona sort of situation, you're able to handle it much better and solve those problems through.
Would that be an app, Gary? Is that what you're thinking?
The buyer personas?
No, your thing, is that an app?
It's an app.
Because I download an app for you and all that stuff comes up in an app.
So that's coming soon in
Oh,
January.
wow.
So we've been working on it for 2 years. The dev team is pushing it out next week for us to keep testing.
You can add me as your loan officer,
Yes.
right? I'm thinking ahead.
Do you have it, so social media, that's all, I was doing, I was posting, do you make it easy for an agent that, to create one thing and it goes wherever it needs to go?
I think what's interesting about that is if you create a video about Wally's, and then if someone's shopping in Beverly Hills, they would see your video, right? And so when they're looking in an area, in a general area, they would see your videos about the area and how you show off that area.
But, making it like, do you do a reel, do you do a post, do you do a video?
So it would be like a short video. That's the question.
But is that app going to handle that for the agent?
I think it's upload, kind of like an upload video and a post sort of situation. We actually have a meeting with the MLS tomorrow and pitching our app. MLS is actually having a venture fund. We don't necessarily want their money necessarily because we don't want to give away equity, but we really want their support. That's a their upside. Yeah, they're
If you're their competitor, then you have no choice.
well, it's not the competitor. I want them to be our collaborator, and I want them to help their own members. To really, we're putting the members front and center, and that's our real pitch is that we're putting the members front and center. That's what we're trying to do.
Following, I love the part that you say by liking and the posts that they go on the pictures and different houses, you're gonna see that what they really love. I really love the part because following the algorithm in Instagram and this platform. But I have a question. Where do you import the house? You're gonna import them from the MLS again? Because we're not ready to give a show on each property.
So our first challenge for our dev team was just to connect the MLS with our app design. I wanted to see whether our design could match that. We, as realtors, we actually have access to the MLS, you get connected to your website in that sense, and it has a feed that can go through, so that's what.
But the question is, I really have here, as a buyer, as a general customer, you always look for the properties that you don't even, somehow you don't even afford to buy.
Mhm.
How do you want to eliminate this misleading section? Because the way you're gonna follow that was wonderful. But I myself sit at a computer and looking for 100 units property on and on. Yeah.
Maybe you want to buy 100.
I love to buy. I love to. Oh, man, I want to.
I think I'm gonna change the question. I'm gonna change the question. I'm gonna say, you as a realtor have buyers, right? Who has a buyer? One buyer, yeah. Who has 10 buyers, maybe, right? Okay, your 10 buyers, wouldn't you like to see what they're looking at? Right, so let's say they're looking at $100 million month, right? Then I can talk to them. Yeah. Are you looking to buy this? They're, oh, I'm just looking. Okay, that's right, right? You have that conversation. But if you never have that conversation, and they're looking at Beverly Hills, but all of a sudden they're looking at Newport Beach, and you know what? You're a Beverly Hills agent. Newport Beach, you don't sell $10 million houses in Newport Beach, do you?
Yeah, I do. Now I do.
Now you do. But it would be great to know that they're looking in Newport Beach, right? So that's the value. So I'm changing the question, and that's the solution. That's the next.
Or even here's what's happened to me, like my clients, when our initial buyer meeting, oh, I want a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, up to 1.5 in this area. And then they'll send me a Zillow property, 2 bedrooms for, $300,000 more than what they told me they wanted to spend. So then, you change your parameters. So you have to adjust.
I had a client looking at $2 million, all of a sudden we're looking at $15 million property.
Yeah.
That's what you like, rather than 500. Yeah.
But, your app would sort of do that.
It would give you the background information, tracking everything they looked at and liked, not just liked, but looked at also. I think that's very valuable in a tool that you can actually use. Again, what we want to emphasize that it's a tool for you. It's not just something that you're, advertise, make videos, and hopefully catch some things when you do a TikTok dance. It's not that. It's something that we want something for you to use right away. Any other questions? Yes.
I just want to first say thank you for taking us on the whole journey. I think that's incredibly inspiring. We usually take the end result for granted. We just see the end. So that process is really inspiring. I just want to applaud both of you for the amount of work that you put into this. I know how much dedication. You're very proud. And I just want to say thank you again. I mean, I know how much blood, sweat, and tears you guys put into this thing. So thank you very much. I can't wait to see it. I will see it. And can we be guinea pigs? I mean, is there
Yes,
a beta version?
So a beta version will be out in January, not releasing to the general public. You know how Josh pays for it?
This is covered other area, other state, like.
So right now, it's only California.
It's only California.
Unless you're licensed in other places, you can maybe start working.
We can.
We need a broker's license in every state actually in order to start taking on MLS. So that's where strategic partnerships come in. We've already thought about that also. We can go to 2 brokerages and say, hey, we have this amazing tool, works in California, people love it in California. Would you like to invest this much for this much equity? No? Well, I think your competitor might be more interested than you. We just move their MLS and your money. Right? Any other questions? Nothing else? I want to say a special thanks to some of our friends that are here. Justin, right here, he actually walked into the open house. And, he's one of the early founders for Tinder, actually. So he's been really really trying to guide us through and being like, you're doing it all wrong or right or whatever. You know, also, we have David in the back hiding over there in the corner. He's in venture capital. So we're lining up people to be in place. But we can't wait to tell you about our next concept because Robert's dad is in furniture also. So imagine integrating that into looking at houses. Imagine when you close escrow, there's a big bin in front of your house with all the furniture you need in that sense. And as a manufacturer, it comes directly from the manufacturer rather than through the ports to warehouse to retail to back to warehouse and then to your place, you know? Like it just comes directly. That's the next concept we're working on. But we always want to have a path where we can work together. If you guys know and think of ways that we can work together as agents also, we're like, how can we make it so that you guys are real stakeholders also, you know, and helping your business out as well. I would love to start discovering that and how we can work together as well.
Yeah, so I just want to applaud these guys for obviously great work they're doing. We're gonna work. As this unfolds, you guys will be front and center, and it's gonna be I expect to be a great opportunity for everyone. So Gary and Robert.
Last
thank you
thing
for
I
the
want to
leadership.
say is that there's some new agents, we're always getting new agents and they're asking me, why Beverly Hills, why KW Beverly Hills? And I always say, well, Josh got me here, you know? And really with his support, giving us this platform to be able to even share this with you and just always being supportive, like, hey, yeah, you want to do this, let's go. You know, you want free pizza, let's go, you know? You want free pizza again next month? I like this. But really being supportive of our venture. It's not an easy business. And this office has been nothing but supportive.
I appreciate it.
So thank you
Win-win,
for that.
that's the whole.
Give it up for Karen.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, where is that? It's on the balcony. So
Let's
you
go
guys
grab a drink.
enjoy.
Do you have any
Thank you.
questions?
Thanks,
Oh, if
Gary.
you have questions and more info, Robert's
Yes.
info is on the walls. And if you want to sign up for the app and get an early taste of it, go ahead and sign up for it also. We have our information.
Really, yeah, it's great.